Have you ever seen a waterfall that flows upwards? I know, it sounds completely insane, like something out of a cartoon, but I promise you it's real. Today, we're going to be looking at some of the craziest, most unbelievable natural wonders on the entire planet. We're talking about things that defy physics, logic, and everything you thought you knew about how the world works. Get ready, because what you're about to see is going to blow your mind. From rocks that go on road trips all by themselves to oceans that throw their own glow-in-the-dark parties, this is not your average science class. This is nature on a whole other level. All right, first up we have the one I teased at the beginning, upward waterfalls. I know it sounds like I'm making it up, but I promise you I'm not. In certain places around the world, like in Iceland or Ireland, when the wind is strong enough, it can literally blow the water from a waterfall straight back up the cliff. It's supposed to be falling down. It's like nature woke up one day and just decided gravity was more of a suggestion than a rule. The Kinder Downfall in the UK is a famous spot for it. People travel from all over just to witness this spectacle. Think about it from the perspective of the water. You're all set to make the big plunge, you're on the edge, ready to go, and then whoosh! A massive gust of wind just says, "Nope, not today, buddy," and sends you flying back to where you started. It's nature's ultimate prank. Welcome to Death Valley, California, home of the Sailing Stones. These aren't small pebbles either. We're talking about massive boulders, some weighing over 700 pounds, that move across the desert floor all by themselves, leaving these long, mysterious tracks behind them. For decades, nobody, and I mean nobody, could figure out how it was happening. The tracks they leave are incredible. Some are straight, some are curved, and some even make sharp 90-degree turns. It's like the rocks are having a little meeting and then deciding to go their separate ways. The place where this happens is a dried-up lakebed called Racetrack Playa. Here's how it works. On very rare occasions, the playa gets just enough rain to form a shallow layer of water, which then freezes overnight into a thin sheet of ice. When the sun comes out the next day, it starts to melt the ice, breaking it up into huge floating panels. A light, steady wind then starts to blow these massive ice sheets across the water, and they're strong enough to push the rocks along with them, ever so slowly. Have you ever wanted to go to a party thrown by the ocean itself? Because our next natural wonder is exactly that. We're talking about bioluminescent beaches. These are shorelines where the waves glow with an incredible electric blue light as they crash onto the sand. It's not a filter, it's not special effects. This is 100% real. This magical glow is caused by tiny living organisms called dinoflagellates, a type of phytoplankton. When these little guys are disturbed, like by a wave crashing or your hand moving through the water, they release a burst of light as a defense mechanism. It's their way of saying, "Hey, back off." But for us, it looks like the ocean is throwing its own personal disco party. You can find these glowing beaches in various parts of the world, from the Maldives to Puerto Rico to California. People will go out at night and swim in the glowing water, their bodies outlined in this brilliant blue aura. Kayaking through it is even more insane. Every paddle stroke creates a swirling vortex of light. It's an experience that is so otherworldly, it feels like you've stepped onto the set of the movie Avatar. Okay, we've seen weird water and weird rocks, but what about the sky? Get ready for fire rainbows. And no, it has nothing to do with fire or rainbows, which somehow makes it even cooler. The official name is a circumhorizontal arc, but fire rainbow is way more epic, let's be honest. It's an optical phenomenon that looks like a giant, colorful flame painted across the sky. Unlike a regular rainbow that forms an arc, a fire rainbow is a huge, flat band of color that runs parallel to the horizon. It looks like a chunk of a rainbow broke off and decided to just hang out for a while. The colors are often much more vivid and pure than in a normal rainbow, appearing like strokes of pastel chalk drawn by a giant artist. So how does this happen? The conditions have to be absolutely perfect. First, the sun has to be very high in the sky, more than 58 degrees above the horizon to be exact. Second, you need to have high-altitude cirrus clouds, the thin, wispy kind. But that's not all. The ice crystals within those clouds have to be shaped like thick hexagonal plates, and they all have to be aligned horizontally. When the sunlight shines through the vertical side of these flat, plate-like ice crystals, it splits into the spectrum of colors, just like a prism. Okay, This next one sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, but I swear it's a real thing. Get ready for blood rain. Yes, you heard me right. In certain parts of the world, the rain that falls from the sky can be tinted a creepy, rusty red color, staining streets, cars, and buildings. The first time this happened in ancient times, people absolutely freaked out. They thought it was a sign of the apocalypse, and honestly, can you blame them? If red water started falling from the sky right now, I'd be a little concerned too. Imagine waking up and the whole world outside your window has been painted in shades of red and orange. Blood rain is caused by dust and sand particles from deserts, most often the Sahara, getting swept up high into the atmosphere by strong winds. These dust clouds can travel thousands of miles across continents and oceans. Once this reddish-colored dust is up in the atmosphere, it mixes with the moisture in the clouds. When it eventually rains, the raindrops carry all that fine dust down with them, giving the water its distinct red or orange hue. So, it's not blood at all, it's just very, very dirty rain. Alright, let's go from the sky back down deep into the ocean for our next wonder. This one is both beautiful and terrifying. It's called a brinacle, but it's also known by its much cooler and more metal name, the Icicle of Death. It's an underwater icicle that forms beneath sea ice in the freezing polar oceans. Imagine a hollow tube of ice slowly growing downwards from the sea ice on the surface, reaching for the ocean floor. It looks like a crystal finger pointing down into the abyss. This isn't regular ice either. A brinacle is formed from super salty, super cold water called brine. This brine is much denser than the surrounding seawater, so it sinks, and it's so cold that it freezes the less salty water it comes into contact with, creating that hollow ice tube around the sinking plume. Watching one form is like watching a science fiction movie. It's a slow, silent, and relentless process. When the brinacle finally touches the seafloor, it doesn't stop. It continues to spread outwards, creating a web of ice that freezes everything it touches. Any slow-moving bottom dwellers, like starfish or sea urchins that are unlucky enough to be in its path, are instantly trapped and frozen solid in a tomb of ice. This phenomenon was only captured on film for the first time in 2011 by a BBC film crew, which is insane. For our final and possibly most epic natural wonder, we're combining two of the most powerful forces on the planet: volcanoes and lightning. That's right, we're talking about volcanic lightning. This is a phenomenon where a massive volcanic eruption creates its own lightning storm within the plume of ash and gas. It is, without a doubt, one of the most metal, most spectacular, and most terrifyingly awesome displays in the entire natural world. Imagine a mountain literally exploding, spewing smoke, ash, and lava miles into the sky. Now, imagine that same apocalyptic cloud being lit up from within by hundreds of flashes of lightning. It's not a thunderstorm happening near the volcano. The volcano is making the lightning itself. This incredible event is also known as a dirty thunderstorm, and it happens because of static electricity. As the volcano erupts, the millions of particles of rock, ash, and ice that are blasted into the air rub against each other. This friction builds up an enormous static charge, just like when you rub a balloon on your hair. Eventually, the charge gets so big that it needs to be released, and it does so in the form of a massive lightning bolt. These lightning strikes can be contained within the ash cloud, creating an unbelievable spectacle of internal flashes, or they can be massive bolts that strike the ground miles away. Photographers and scientists go to incredible lengths to capture images of this, putting themselves near active volcanoes just to witness this clash of titans. The raw, untamable power on display is just staggering. This is nature at its most raw and most primal. And that is it. 7 of the most bizarre and unbelievable natural wonders on the planet. From waterfalls that go up to volcanoes that make their own lightning, our world is so much weirder and more amazing than we can even imagine. Every single one of these phenomena is 100% real, and it just shows you that there are still so many secrets and surprises out there waiting to be discovered. I don't know about you, but my mind is officially blown. Which one of these was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. If you thought watching these was as epic as I did, do me a huge favor and smash that like button until it turns blue, just like those bioluminescent waves. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we post crazy videos like this all the time, and you don't want to be the last one to see them. We're always exploring the most incredible things the world has to offer, and I want you to be here for the next adventure. Seriously though, thank you all for watching. It means the world to me that we get to explore these amazing things together. So subscribe, stick around, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!